Sorry about the delay. Welcome to the monthly McLean County Reentry Council meeting. My name is Toy Beasley. Like I said, sorry about the delay. We had a meeting previously that was connected to here that got out a little late. So thank you for your patience. So it seems like we got everybody on who's coming, and as people come in, they can catch our today's council meeting. First of all, before we go into our presentation, I want everybody to go around and introduce yourself. I know this, everybody may know everybody, but there may be some people on there that don't know nobody on here. So it gives you an opportunity to, not only are we coming here every month hearing guest speakers, but it gives people an opportunity to network if they don't know a certain individual. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off, let you know who I am. My name is Toy Beasley, and I'm the president of the McLean County Reentry Council. I also work for an agency, statewide agency called TASK, Treatment Alternatives for Safer Communities. I'm the Reentry Support Coordinator statewide. I'm also a person who have been just as impacted. I was in and out of prison system from 1991 to 1999. So the things that we're doing here and in the future is my passion here in the community. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Tammy.
Hi, Toy, thank you. I'm Tammy Corbin from McLean County Adult Probation. I've been with the county for 28 years and I'm always looking for resources for clients here with probation. So glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jen Curtis. I'm with the city of Bloomington Township. I'm a caseworker here, so I help with assessing clients for their eligibility for the assistance that we can offer for general maintenance needs. So, and I'm one of your guest speakers today.
Thank you. Jeff?
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to see you all again. I'm Jeff Asmus. I am the Region 3 technical assistant for the Recovery Oriented Systems of Care project that is a statewide project. So I serve the local Ross councils from the Indiana state line to the Mississippi River, right across central Illinois.
Welcome, Jeff. Nikki.
Hello, long time no see. My name is Nikki Williams. I'm a domestic violence court advocate here at the Law and Justice Center. And I actually had a couple of brothers who paid their debts. And so it was a journey for me to take with them. So I think this is my way of learning and giving back. So nice to meet everybody and see everybody.
Good to see you, Nikki. Corey.
Hi, everybody. I'm Corey Tello. I'm on the Board of Health and the Mental Health Advisory Board for the county and work with the CAT team. So nice to see everybody. Nice to see the sun shining.
Welcome, Corey. Bethany.
Hi, I'm Bethany Bain. I'm the case manager at the McLean County Jail. My job is really to kind of, in addition to teaching classes and doing some assessments and stuff, is to hook people up with resources so they don't visit me frequently.
Thanks, Bethany. Good to see you back. Aaron.
Hi there. Sorry, juggling a few things at home today. I'm Erin Duncan, Prairie State Legal Services. Help a lot of folks with housing and other issues that we know folks in reentry have alignment with those issues. And I've been also just working with the Reentry Council on some organizational stuff. So excited to be here. I can't stay the whole time today, but I'll just drop off quietly at mid-call.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate you coming. Jake. Jake Rockwell. Okay, we'll come back. Gabby.
Hi, I'm Gabby, case manager at the Salvation Army Safe Harbor Emergency Shelter. We serve pretty much every population, sub-demographic, except children.
Gabby, thank you. Welcome to the council. Appreciate you coming. Trulie Robinson.
Hi, everybody. My name's Trudy Robinson with the YW Strive program. We are a professional development program. Nice to be here.
Thank you. Shelley.
Hi, I'm Shelley Purchase. I'm the business services representative with CareerLink.
Thank you, Shelley. Welcome. Vera.
Hi, everybody. My name is Vera Traver, and I am the program coordinator at YWCA Labyrinth Outreach. Also a person with lived experience who have experienced incarceration as well.
Thanks, Vera. Shannon.
Good afternoon. I'm Shannon Garlock with the Behavior Health Program at the McLean County Health Department.
Thank you for coming, Shannon. Sharon. Let me see here. Amanda. I don't think her audio is on. Don't look like it. We're gonna go back to Jake. Jake, you on? Oh, sorry, don't have a mic. Okay. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Jake is from the Salvation Army. Thank you for coming. Langston.
Hey guys, my name is Langston Pates, and I am the owner of Team Relocation. We're a moving company here in Central Illinois. I also invest in real estate. I too am a justice involved individual. I've been to 2 state prisons and 3 United States penitentiaries. I built both of my businesses on parole with an ankle monitor on during COVID. The moving company is now a 6-figure-a-year company, and I own $1 million worth of real estate. I purchase single family homes and rent them out.
Thank you, Langston. I appreciate it. I think that's everybody. Did I miss someone? I don't think Kara is on, but if I miss someone, just go and say, hey, you missed me. But I think Amanda Ferguson, I think she's with Illinois Department of Corrections. I think she does something with outreach there. So welcome, Amanda. If you get audio connection, jump right on. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into what we're here today for. Today we got Jen Curtis here with the Bloomington Township, and we were supposed to have Pastor Eddie Perkins today from the House of Hope, but since he actually's got COVID, so he's really sick, he wasn't able to come on. So I'm going to share a brief summary and talk about what he does at the House of Hope. And then after that, we got a surprise for you that wasn't on the agenda. So that being said, Jen, you want to go ahead and talk about what you do, the awesome things you're doing at the Bloomington Township, so the council will know?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know how many out there are familiar with the general programs that we already provide, such as general assistance and the emergency assistance. So I was going to do what I call my elevator speech, just give a brief summary of that and then get into more detail about our HERE program, which is in addition to what we can provide above and beyond through the emergency or the general assistance. So general assistance refers to an assistance program that we can provide for individuals whom are either unemployed or underemployed and meet a certain income guideline. That program is available every 30 days. We as caseworkers help guide them through the statutes to keep them compliant with that program to be eligible to possibly receive those grant monies on a 30-day basis. Those individuals are required to participate in our workfare program, which equates to about 6 hours a week. And the workfare, we work with different nonprofit agencies throughout the community to place them for that workfare. The emergency assistance is generated for individuals who have declared dependents in the household, or those individuals that may be above the income guidelines for the general assistance. Emergency assistance is granted every 12 months. There's a potential for you to requalify every 12 months. And that emergency we constitute as either the threat of an eviction, and we kind of lowered those parameters to say that they have a late notice or are behind in their rental payment, or they are facing a disconnection from a utility. So that's what makes you meet the emergency criteria so that we can step in and resolve that emergent need. We were finding that the funding that we had through those two programs wasn't quite meeting the full need of an individual that might be facing eviction or already in an eviction process. So we went above and beyond outside of our general or emergency assistance program, and Deb developed the program called HERE, Housing Emergency Relief Efforts. So what HERE does is intended to reach those individuals that they may already qualify for general assistance or emergency. We will vet them through those two programs first. But if there's a disqualifying factor for either of those, then we look to see if we can help them with the HERE program. The HERE is available to individuals for up to $3,000. So that goes above and beyond what they may be served based off their qualifications for the emergency or the general assistance. And that we will pay, all of our programs, we pay direct to vendors. So we're paying directly to the landlord, we're paying directly to, say, Ameren or NICOR, and we're combining whatever their needs are to try to utilize as much of that grant money as we can. So maybe we're combining a rental payment and the utility to try to utilize them. The main focus of this program was to get everyone to a more sustainable place. And in doing that, we are ensuring that these individuals or families have income, that there's income coming into the household to maintain that once we get them out of that eviction or that crisis situation, that they're able to maintain the situation beyond that. Unfortunately, our statutes guide with general assistance and emergency assistance. We're not able to, due to state statutes, we're not able to provide assistance to individuals that have a Class X or a Class 1 drug felony conviction. That is legislation that we have been working very hard on to get changed and eliminated. But with the HERE program, we are able to help with those individuals. We're not using that as an exclusion for the HERE program. So if those individuals may not qualify due to that, because for the general or the emergency, we will proceed to see if we can help them with the HERE program. Another disqualifier is individuals that are receiving supplemental security income. They would automatically not be eligible for the general or the emergency as well, but we would see if we could help them with the HERE program because they are, receiving some monies through the Social Security. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. As far as the HERE, we have a pretty efficient, streamlined process here at our office. Individuals just call us and we can screen them over the phone with a quick orientation. That helps us to compile our complete application packet that we then, we kind of got inventive and streamlined everything with COVID, and we can either email those packets directly to the applicant, they can come to our office, we can fax, we can snail mail, however they would like to receive that packet. We have a pretty specific guidelines that we have to follow, and that's broken down in a checklist of the required documentation that we need in order to vet them for the assistance. But we do our best to help, simplify that and guide them through that process to get them to either my desk or Tammy, our other caseworker's desk, to get them determined and get their help. So anybody that ever has any questions is welcome to call here at the township office. I can leave a note in the messages of our contact information. You're welcome to email us, call directly, ask for Jen or Deb, or any of us are happy to answer any questions anybody might have. So yeah, that's pretty much that in a nutshell. So if anybody has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, Jen, thank you once again, Jen. Oh, go ahead, Aaron. Aaron, go ahead. Aaron has a question.
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah, this is such a needed service. I'll tell you, we've got 41 evictions on the docket for first appearances next Wednesday. So
Wow.
they're still happening. It goes up and down, but that's a higher number than we've been seeing in recent weeks. My question is, so I know with the HERE funds, my understanding from Deb was that the requirements are a little bit more flexible, like you could show proof of an arrearage through a ledger or something like that, and not necessarily need a 5-day legal notice of eviction. Is that true for the emergency assistance now, or are you, if the HERE funds get expended and emergency assistance continues, is the requirement for that going to be a 5-day notice, or do you think that it'll still remain, some other proof of arrearage potentially?
I think that we will just have some sort of documentation, whether that's like a letter from the landlord or we've been asking for the ledgers for at least 6 months, because that's nice for us to quantify what charges have been made on the account, what has been paid. And that kind of helps show us where they're at this moment with their arrearage or, back rent. So that I think we will probably maintain over time for the emergency assistance as long as there's proof, because the whole goal is to prevent eviction. We don't like to force them into a 5-day situation, but some landlords have been pretty cooperative with us in providing the documentation needed to, prove that what that rental need is.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, we have seen situations where basically somebody asked for a 5-day notice because they felt like they needed it in order to apply for assistance. And then maybe for whatever reason, the process was taking a while or something, and then they do end up actually in eviction court and proceeding down that road. So
right.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and great work that you do there for Prairie State. We have referred a lot to your agency as well. So you're doing good work. We appreciate you for sure.
Thanks.
Anybody else have a question?
Jen, did I hear you right when you was talking about the HERE program? So them having a drug conviction, the HERE program will still waive that?
Correct.
Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah, we've never really liked that guideline, and unfortunately, like I said, it's a state statute. It was changed for DHS, but they didn't include townships. So we're still working on that little caveat to get that eliminated, because it's really it's just not fair if we don't have that restriction for any of the other convictions. I don't know why we have that one. So it's it's a great, I'm really glad we were able to exclude that and be able to help more people that way. Yeah.
Corey?
Jen, so how are the monies? I mean, it's mid-February. How are you doing on money? And is that a big concern? And do you anticipate more funds becoming available if the need obviously continues, which we know it will?
Right. So we have, our fiscal year goes to March. So these monies are available through March, and that will continue. That was included in, next year's budget to allow for those monies. And we're not really seeing, a lot of these individuals aren't utilizing, or they don't have the need for the full $3,000. So that's still to be determined as we see more of these cases come in. But right now we're holding steady, and the funds are definitely there. So yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I have a question. Jen, thank you once again for coming on. I appreciate it. Just quickly, the individuals that are new here, just want to get a brief background of what the McLean County Reentry Council is. And basically, we're just here to educate the community, get the community together to know what resources are available for individuals that's coming home from prison, drug and alcohol treatment center, or just facing life struggles. So if we know the resources that we can send them to, we can help eliminate recidivism. So if a person is coming home from prison and they need first husband security deposit, or they need food, we know where to send them at. And everybody knows that when individuals come home from prison, it's like if they don't know their community or know where to go get stuff at, they go back to what they know. So it's important that we continue to work together as a community to help push some of the barriers that people face when they come home from prison. So just wanted to give a little brief summary, because I know there was a couple new people on here for the first time. But my question is, so what are the income guidelines You know, what do you consider people
We're-
that come to you for services? Do they have to be unemployed? Can they have a job making some money? What are the income guidelines?
Well, we're at the 200% poverty level, which is pretty gracious as far as our exemptions for income and assets. So we follow a pretty stringent, guideline for those monies. So essentially, if you have an individual that is like unemployed or underemployed, and by underemployed, I refer to that, maybe that individual's working like part-time, like maybe 15 hours. They may fall into that general assistance program where we're helping them every 30 days. The emergency assistance has a little bit more leeway. The asset disregard, which is like monies in the bank or monies you have access to, is $1,500 per household or individual. So the income itself is hard to break down because we do give credits towards, like, we take out deductions such as taxes or any like fees that they may have to pay for employment, whether that be like a union fee or things like that. We credit those things. So it's really based on the individual and their income source. So that's something that we vet through that process. But
And reason why I bring the income guidelines, because if PATH, our other agency here, through their housing program, you basically got to be homeless to get some assistance. So like I said, that's another barrier that
Right.
individuals face when they come home from prison or coming out of drug and alcohol treatment center. So
Right.
what you're saying is that HERE program that's got a different income guideline, they don't have to be homeless to get the assistance they need.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I mean, if they are declaring homelessness, we do ask that be proved, or there's proof of that through PATH, that they're receiving PATH services. So that's another thing that we strive to do, because township is the payer of last resort. So we want to make sure that these individuals are receiving and obtaining every possible benefit available to them. So whether that be, their SNAP benefits or homeless, services, things like that, we're have that connection throughout the community to connect them to those resources, to get those all viable resources to them. So I'm gonna brag for a second, but I do have an individual who just was recently released from incarceration, and this individual has been on our program for less than 30 days, and they've already obtained employment. So my little victory story of just getting them connected with, a lot of times our work fair sites that we send them to end up hiring them on. So they have a position open, whether part-time or full-time, and they do such a great job through our work fair, and they just hire them on. So those are our great victory stories there. But we are by no means end of the road or the last door to be closed. If we can't help them, we're going to find somebody who can. I don't believe in no's, and I don't believe in, nope, I can't help you. That's it. Nope, we're going to find something for you. So we're happy to help anyone, and with those connections that we have as well in the community. So send them our way.
Any other questions?
Hey, I have a quick question. So would you guys in any way be involved in kind of what's next in terms of, say you now have a job, say you now have these resources available to you, a place to live, as far as moving forward, getting to another level of, either renting or ownership or, resources. I understand the SNAP benefits and those kinds of things, but credit repair, people that can prepare them to then move forward the next step.
We don't offer that here. We would definitely probably refer that out to, I think it just slipped my mind, the agency, but we definitely prepare them for the fact that, if they are tapering off of our services, lining up like, okay, this is when we pay our Ameren bill. This is, make sure rent's paid by this date, and just kind of easing them into that transition, because in a way we're kind of a personal accountant too, because we've been the one making sure those bills get paid, and checks written to the appropriate vendor. So yeah, there's definitely a soft transition into that. And even though if they are, say they do become employed, we have a due process where we kind of ease them away from the services. They're probably still going to qualify for some grant monies. It may just not be the full amount. It's just so we don't, they have that transition. So as they're gaining their own monies to spend, that we're still kind of helping cushion that into that transition.
Jen, you may be thinking of Mid-Central Community Action. They do.
Yes, thank you.
Financial counseling and credit repair.
Yes, thank you. And I thought that Chestnut had one too. Chestnut has they had like a credit counseling service. I know I've referred individuals to them as well.
Yeah, Mid-State, yeah, that's somebody said Mid-State Community Action. Yeah, Langston, that was a great question, because not only are we need to help them to get them out of the poverty mindset, but that'd be a good tool to transition on for them to be homeowners, or getting employment with gainful benefits. Because a lot of our individuals that come home from prison and from the county jail and from treatment, they know how to get jobs. The kids, how can we get them gainful jobs with benefits? For instance, if they gotta take their kid to a doctor's appointment or somewhere, or they may have an appointment somewhere and they got to leave work for half the day and they don't have any benefits, they don't have any PTO, that kind of sets them back a little bit, especially if they're living paycheck to paycheck. So educate them on getting better employment and educate them on their credit history, and getting a better credit score will put them in a position that they can continue to be successful.
Right.
Great. Thanks, Langston. Any other questions? I think that's all I had, but does the Bloomington Township have a one-pager on the steps they can take to get connected with them? So something that you can send us all, so we can, if we run into a situation, we can give it to them, what number they could call.
Yeah, I'm going to put
document, tell them what steps they can take, any information on the HERE program. So, a lot of people thinking that, I know a lot of individuals, when I did case management in the community several years ago, one of the biggest barriers was that class 1 class X drug conviction. And so they thought maybe, well, I'm not going there because I got this in my background. But now that, we hear about these programs, putting something in somebody's hand and let them know that these programs offer was something that I always loved for individuals to have.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get, I know Deb has a write-up on it, and we can get that emailed over probably to you to disperse. So that's probably the easiest. Yeah, and I'm putting in the comments our office number here, and then I can also do our email if anybody has, wants to shoot us an email and ask a question. But usually the easiest is to just have the individual, or if they have, anybody has a question, just give us a call. And yeah, we pretty much walk them through the entire application process.
Great. And the reason why I asked that too, you've seen this from time to time again, that a lot of our people are dealing with anxiety. They don't know how to advocate for themselves. So sometimes put some in their hand, and sometimes we may even have to walk them be there by their side. That's just the population we're dealing with today that are afraid to seek out and ask questions because they're afraid of being told no, and so they don't know how, they afraid of rejection. So
understood. Yeah, absolutely. And we don't turn anybody away at that initial orientation unless it's, apparent that they just wouldn't qualify for our services, but we still give everyone the opportunity to apply and get a fair and equal assessment of the qualifications for the process. So yeah, we wouldn't just stop at that and say, nope, you're not eligible. We give them the opportunity to review their full case and give them a legitimate reason why they may not be. And then we would most likely be referring them to another agency. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I'm going to have, as soon as you disperse that to me, I'm going to put it on the McLean County Reentry Council Facebook page, and also I'm going to disperse it out to the council. So a copy of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were just talking about that this morning, coming up with something that we can kind of get the word out, like a flyer or mailer to kind of get more, drum up more information about it. So we'll definitely get that sent out to you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Any other questions? You have a question, Vera? Oh, she's just clapping.
Nope, I was just clapping, saying, good job, Jen, good
Thank you.
job. We
Thank
send a lot
you.
of our ladies over there, so we love Township. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, we love you guys as well. It's awesome to work together like that. We love that. So
Okay,
yeah,
thanks.
thanks for having us.
So if you guys don't have next question, I'm gonna transition to our other speaker. Well, actually, Pastor Eddie Perkins, he was supposed to be on today, but he's not, he's under the weather. So I'm gonna basically share his flyer. Can everybody see that? So I want to share a little bit about, it's called the House of Hope. It's a transitional program that started maybe a couple years ago. Here, I'm trying to figure out how to move it down here. Okay. The House of Hope started a couple years ago. Pastor Eddie Perkins, he's the founder of House of Hope. It's a transition program that he had a passion to start years ago, and I don't know he don't mind me sharing. He's a person too that have been just as impacted with incarceration and drugs and alcohol. And this is something that he always wanted to do, was start up a transitional home. Like I said, he's been in this house is at 1002 Roosevelt. He's been in the house has been going for probably about 2 years. Right now, as we speak, he do have availability. And these are some of the services that he offered there while you're there. He do more of the referring out, but he also has a program that he does. It's called, it's tied in with anger management, time management, that he allows the guys that when they come through the program, they have to go through there. Here, I'm trying to move this up. Just 1 second here. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. His mission is to help stop recidivism. The House of Hope Transition Shelter is a safe place for individuals who can concentrate on helping transform themselves and aiding them to regaining independent, responsible lifestyle to help stop recidivism. They're focused on assisting men to becoming who God called them to be while they're incarcerated into society. You do not have to be a person of faith to attend here. It's a 9-month program. Long as you're attending some type of self-help group, whether it's AANA, Celebrate Recovery, even though this is a faith-based program, you do not have to be a person of faith to be a part of that. The whole goal is, though, how can he transition them back in the community? One of the biggest barriers that people face when they come home is housing. And that's why this month and next month, we want to focus on housing, because when they come home and don't have a place to stay, they go back to recidivate, whether it's drugs and alcohol, whether it's selling drugs again, whether it's stealing, whatever it is that led them back into prison. Without housing, securing housing will be tough for individuals that's coming home from prison or drug and alcohol treatment center. Like I said, his emphasis is for folks on their spiritual support, mentoring, accountability and responsibility, life skills, drug and alcohol, mental health treatment, anger management, time management. He figures that if he can get them involved in the community doing some type of self-help support group, then when they do run into situations in their life, they can ask for help. But if they don't have any accountability, any mentors, any life skills in their life, 9 times out of 10 individuals go back to what they know. Like I said, he's got beds open right now. It's $500 a month. And that's include everything. That's including the rent, utilities, and the internet. He does from time to time get food from local charities that supply day-to-day food for him, like cereals, granola bars, and breakfast items. But they are responsible for providing their food outside of that. There's a $200 security deposit in the midst of, if individual want to come there. One of the biggest things that he's facing is guys that come home don't have the money to pay for it. So place like Bloomington Township and other places around town that he's trying to connect with to help individuals with that. There was a time when he first started where he was giving guys the first month's rent free, but I know he's got burnt too many times where guys stayed there a month and then they left, and he never had an opportunity to grow it because people took advantage of that first month's rent for free. So he's really trying to connect with the community to see what other avenues he can take outside of Bloomington Township, and I'm pretty sure he's worked with the Bloomington Township in the past. But if you guys know any other agencies or churches that help out with individuals that are coming home from incarceration or the county jail or prison, that drug and alcohol treatment centers that can help them financing for individuals that's coming home. This is his information. The website is www.seasofhope.com. And this is his email address, encouragingroadsoutreach@hotmail.com. And this is his phone number. I talked to him probably 5 or 10 minutes before we started. And I shared with him that I was going to share this information and give him his contact information. So it's just only for men. And so it's, like I said, it's at 1002 Roosevelt, right catty corner from Bent School. So if you know someone that can utilize this valuable resource, let me know or contact him. Does anyone have any follow-up questions regarding the House of Hope?
I'm curious, Toy, does someone that would like to be a part of this, do they have to be, it's a transitional home? What if their home, their justice involved and they need this, but they're not actually coming home from prison? Is this still something they can be a part of?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And also too, I meant to share this. He has a house manager. So there's someone there. So it's supervised by a house manager, a person that has been out of the system or been out of treatment for a while and doing great things. He has a house manager there on site. So it won't be just a place where they can go and there's no supervision. There's supervision there too. So yes, Langston, your question, yes, they can go there. All they're gonna do is fill out an application, go through the interview process. And if him and his team feel like it's a good fit, then they will allow them to come there.
Toy, how many beds does he have there?
He has a total of 8 beds there. So I think there's 6 rooms, and I think there's 2 to a room, but those are the much larger rooms that he has. Very nice home for individuals that want to make those changes. I had an opportunity to go there when he first started. He had local people in the community, charities, churches that helped him renovate it, new beds, new furniture. I mean, really nice place. A lot of people have never heard about it. He don't promote it a lot. He just never really, I think he's been on a couple meetings over Zoom during the pandemic and talked about it a little bit, but it's not promoted a lot. So I know sometimes when guys come home, they don't have any money at all. I know in the past, like I said, in the past, he's worked with some people, but he's got burnt a lot. So he's really he can try to work with them with the security deposit, but the first month's rents, I think he'd like to have if that would make people eligible to come in. Is he eligible to apply for a grant? Yes, he is eligible to apply for a grant. He did at one time get some grants to help people, but of course, that goes really fast. And then certain grants that you apply for can't go towards first month's rent security deposit. So if you apply for a grant, he may be able to use it for the house, but not for that particular thing. Jen?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that with Township, we do, for those that are homeless, we are able to help with first month's rent. We cannot pay security deposits. I know that's caveat for a lot of agencies just due to the liability involved with the deposit portion. But once someone is locked into a signed legal lease agreement, we are able to help if that's a transition from a homeless situation to a living situation that would constitute an emergency, that we're stabilizing housing for them. So we are able to assist with first month's rent. So I wanted to clarify that for those individuals. And we also do provide up to $200 to those that may be staying in any of the shelters or any type of transitional housing. We call it like live-in. That's a flat $200 that goes to that agency that helps to house them.
Great.
So just a little FYI.
Thank you, thank you. And I know he has used you guys in the past, but I don't think he know about the HERE program. So that's good to know.
Yeah, we should definitely get together with him.
Yeah, because he's had a lot of individuals that had those particular drug cases that didn't qualify. Any questions about the House of Hope with Pastor Eddie Perkins? Like I said, I will send out his flyer to everyone. If you didn't catch the information, just shoot him an email or contact him if you know somebody can use that valuable resource. Even Bethany on the inside of the county jail. I think this would be a great resource. I know some of those guys, when they come out, they may not have money to pay up front, but maybe they have a family member, or maybe they can start the process with an agency before they leave. Like I said, I don't know the ins and outs of all that. So any other questions on the House of Hope? Okay, also too, I want to mention the Oxford House too, since we're talking about housing. The Oxford House just opened up another Oxford House. So they got 3 total in the Bloomington area. They just opened one up on, what was it, Hedge Road. They got a new coordinator here. Her name is Kim, I think is Chevelle. She was supposed to be here today. She couldn't be on here today. So Oxford Houses, and I will put her phone number and her email in the chat. Oxford House, they're another resource that people can use for housing. Like I said, they got 3 houses here. Now I'm talking about nice houses, and they're not in the hood. These are houses that are in residential neighborhoods that you wouldn't even think that it was a halfway house. So I had an opportunity they got a house right over there on 500, I think it's 500 South Grove in Normal. Really nice house. And when I went inside of it, I was like, wow, if I was a person coming home from prison or the county jail treatment center, this is where I want to be at. And they're doing real recovery there. So if you know someone that, like I said, want to go to a halfway house, I don't know if the Oxford House classified as a halfway house or a transitional home. I'm not for sure, but I will put her information in the chat. And if you guys want to contact her, if you know somebody can use that, that'd be great. And also, Vera, if you want to chime in on the Labyrinth House quickly, I know you guys have restrictions when it comes to women, but not only we want to talk about men housing, but it's important that women have some type of housing or an option to come for housing.
Okay. Well, we are located at 616 West Monroe Street. And we house up to 8 women. We have 4 apartments, so it is 2 women to each apartment. It's a 2-year program. We also, it's definitely a program. We have, we do groups and all kinds of stuff, try to link our women with the agencies that they need to be connected with that's in the community. But like I said, it is a 2-year program and it's for women.
Thank you. So very quickly, because I know a lot of people probably thinking that does a woman have to come home from prison to be a part of your program? And 2 is, what are the qualifications for individuals that want to come to the YWCA Labyrinth House?
That's just one of the things I think makes our program unique. You do have to have experience incarceration. So that's one of the qualification, and you do not have to be just coming home from being incarceration. It just has to be in your background somewhere. So.
So what is the cost for individuals that want to come and stay there? What is the cost to stay there? Is it grant funded? Is it once they get a job? What does it cost to stay there on a monthly basis?
So we do have grants for them to stay here, and we really kind of encourage them not to jump right in and get a job, you know, because we want them to be working on building a foundation of recovery, you know. But once they do get a job, or if they do not have a job, we encourage them to go to township. I have taken several ladies down there myself, so they can be responsible in, you know, paying for a partial of their rent. So once they do get a job, we expect for them to pay program fees, and we expect for them to put up savings with us. So the goal is, once they are done with their 2-year stay here, they will have a lump sum of money to fall back on to do the things that they need to do, far as like first month's rent, deposit, or maybe they want a flat screen TV or a brand new bed or whatever it is. They'll have some money, you know, to have some cushion.
Great. I'm sorry, Vera, I don't mean to call you on the spot. I know this wasn't.
Oh no, you're fine.
But,
Absolutely, you're fine.
Since this month and next month we're talking about housing, I think that, you know, if an individual know a female that has been just as impacted, they can send you not only to your house for housing, but other things that you guys, the great things you guys are doing there, that I think will benefit them in the long run. So thank you so much for speaking on the spot. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, no problem.
And if any of you guys got any question about housing, you can email us at the McLean County Reentry Council at gmail.com. Or you can contact me directly at my email at toy.beasley@yahoo.com. We'd love to connect you with any resources that may come to our county that can help you. Lastly, if anyone have any questions, I have a speaker, Langston. I know Langston shared a little bit about what he does in the community. He's doing some great things. But Langston also faced barriers that I want him just to share. Recently, this is nothing 10 years ago, 20 years ago. This is something recently. So I let him share his story. I just want to end it with this because, you know, sometimes when you hear stories, that'll motivate us to want to continue to do the great work that we're doing. So that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Langston. Langston, you want to go ahead and share some of the barriers and the things you're doing, the great things you're doing in the community?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I want to start by just saying thank you for just, you know, allowing me to be a part of this. I noticed along my path that I was blessed with a support system that a lot of people don't have, just within my family, my mother, you know, my siblings. I had people that loved me and supported me and stood by me. And not everybody has that. Very few people, you know, have that coming home from prison. And so it made me want to be that for anyone. And so I came home from Vandalia prison in 2019. And I lived in my mother's basement. I was on parole and I had an ankle monitor on, and I received a job for $13 an hour. And I met a lot of obstacles were put in my path, and they were kind of the same people that were supposed to be in my path to help me. Ended up kind of creating more obstacles for me, and it created a sense of confusion for me. I was through my parole stipulations, I was ordered to get a mental health evaluation, just, you know, for anxiety and depression and pretty normal mental health maintenance. And so there was no funding. The place that the Illinois Department of Corrections sent me, I was told that the funding was very limited and they were not accepting new clients. My parole officer told me that the job that I got on my own, a man sent me a letter in prison, offered me a $13 an hour job, and I accepted it. When I got home, I was told by my parole officer that I could not have that job. I was supposed to start that Tuesday. But it was because I was on an ankle monitor and I could not be in a truck driving around doing a delivery job. I had to be somewhere stationary and I'd have time to get back and forth. It made sense. I wasn't happy about it. Luckily, the man who offered me the job, he tailored my job description to keep me in the warehouse for those 60 days. And then when they cut the ankle monitor on, he then allowed me to go into my truck. But again, I was confused. I had a job. I start on Tuesday. I've done all the work. You don't have to drag me in here and make me go to work. And, you know, sometimes I felt like that rule was getting in the way of me succeeding. Housing. I lived in my mother's basement. I was blessed to have my mother's home to parole home to. But when I had been working and I was saving money, I was focused on my budget. I wanted to then rent a house, rent somewhere to live, an apartment, a house. I was met by the property management company for these same reasons that we talked about today. I have drug convictions. I was sentenced to federal and state prison for manufacturing and delivery of cannabis, of marijuana. And during a time where, you know, marijuana was not legal in the state of Illinois, and the way I was doing it certainly wasn't. And so because of that, I did not qualify or meet the requirements on the application that excluded me from being able to rent. I had money. I could pay first month's rent, last month's rent. I told them I would pay the entire year if that made a difference. And they told me no. And we talked about today, you know, being afraid of rejection and being told no, especially in a time where you're finally doing what you're supposed to be doing. When does my background, when does this stop affecting me? I need to live somewhere. I'm 30 something years old. I can't stay in my mother's basement. And it was through that no that really propelled me to start looking at my situation differently. I no longer wanted to get told no. So I didn't want to go to another property management company and apply to rent with this on my background. I decided I was going to buy a house, and I started to focus on my credit. I you know, budget huge, you know, really zeroing in on where my finances was going. I was only making $13 an hour. You know, we can get all the help in the world, but $13 an hour will only take you so far if you don't know what you're doing with it. A lot of guys who come home from prison, they have not been budgeting money. And when they go into programs, God bless the programs, but when they go into these programs and people are managing their money and paying the bills for them, it helps them get on their feet. But that's where it leads me to my question of what next? When those people then step out into this world and they realize what a budget is and where their finances, you know, where they have to be disciplined, and they're not prepared for that, they can end up all the way back. I mean, that's where recidivism happens, you know, and they had resources, but they didn't have the knowledge of what to do next when everybody was done helping them. Now it's all on you. And I started a business that's, you know, can kind of go into a whole nother story. I did start a moving company. It started as side work. When COVID hit, I went completely on my own. I now, from 2019 to making $13 an hour, I've built a moving company, and I paid myself 6 figures a year last year. And my moving company did over $500,000 in gross sales in 2022, just 3 years from coming home on parole to a $13 an hour job. I also now own $1 million worth of real estate in McLean County. I buy single family homes and I rent them to tenants. And I have hired the same management property company that told me no, they would not rent to me. They now work for me and they manage my properties. And I don't say that to say ha ha, but I say that to show just how far you can change the narrative. Not only can you turn no's into yeses, you can push that narrative as far as you want to with the right mindset. My initial goal was to get a single family home for my children to just have enough space of their own. I grew up in a single parent home in the same bed with my mother and my sister. And so I just wanted enough space for my kids in one house. And when I met that goal, I set a new goal. I now own a single family home for each one of my children. So I believe in these programs. I believe that the support system that I had, the tools that I sought out on my own, and learn to network and to learn to look for other things just outside of, let me get a link card, let me find someone that will give me some money for a place to live. I needed to learn how to do this on my own. I needed to learn how to make this sustainable. I've always been able to acquire things. I've never been able to keep them. And so I had to learn how to keep these things. And I believe that I want to help put the ideas of getting these men ready to stand on their own feet. I believe the people's credit scores, these budgets, everything that they need to come out here and be successful and pay their own bills, purchase a home, get into a rental property. These things I love what I see Eddie Perkins is doing. I love the time management, the anger management, I believe credit repair needs to be in here. In some cases needs to be mandatory. There's so many other things that are mandatory, except for some of the most important things that make this long lasting. And so I'm here to help share, the obstacles that I came across, the way and the mindset that I had to attack them. And, if anybody were to have questions for me, my moving company does hire felons. We do hire felons. We are a very small company, so I can't just hire everybody. We do look for the right guys, the right fit. We are growing every month, every year. We're getting bigger. I do not have any rental properties available or empty as of this minute. As an investor, that's a good thing. But I absolutely am looking into, at some point, do kind of what I see Mr. Eddie Perkins is doing. And I'll really look forward to reaching out to him myself. I would love to purchase a home, just start with one and turn that home into something that can be used for a program like that. It maybe not happen as soon as I want it to happen, but it will happen someday. It's on my list. So thank you again, guys, for letting me be a part of this. If anybody ever had any questions for me, either on here or off of here, I can put my phone number and my email address in the comments, and people can reach out to me.
I just put it in there, your phone number and your email address. So I put your phone number and your email address, so that if you guys want to contact him, that'd be great. Do you guys have any questions for Langston?
I just wanted to say thank you very much for sharing, Langston. And I don't know, you just got me all fired up over here, because I can so relate to getting some stuff, but then I just throw it right back. I did not know how to keep it. I did not know how to maintain it, take care of it. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. So that is so important for the people that we serve to teach them how to budget. And I personally send people to Perry State because Perry State helped, not Perry State, to MCCA because they taught me how to budget. And I got into some programs over there and was able to buy a house. And yeah, long history of homelessness. So yeah, you just got me all kind of fired up. Thank you so much for sharing.
Real quick, you guys, what I've recognized is I have been the one in that gymnasium, you know, in that facility at the resource fair, looking for resources. And I was really in there looking for resources. I was that man, not the guy that was just hoping to maybe see a pretty lady in a skirt or something that day, you know, as an inmate. You know, I was really there to look for something to help me. And I found that there was nobody in there talking about these things. Nobody came that day to teach me how to budget my money or how to properly, you know, either protect or build my credit score back up. I had no idea about my credit score. All the books and all the literature and all the things that I gathered that day, none of them told me what my credit score would do for me. And a lot of men that end up in prison come from poor and middle-class families who they don't know about their credit score. And they go into prison and they have money on their books. And when you get money on your books, you spend it all. You don't save any of it. You go to commissary and you burn down that list to every penny. You know exactly how much you have on there and you put it on there to the penny. You don't save $10 till next month. You don't save $5 until next month, to where maybe when you get home, you have a couple dollars to leave to go home with. You don't think like that. And then when you come home, you don't think like that. You spend your paycheck to paycheck. You don't know how to put $25 to the side for something better later.
And that's so true.
That is so true.
That is so true.
And then it also made me think about when you were sharing, Langston, like some of the, just the blessings that you had. You had family, you had a support system. So many people do not have that coming home. They have no kind of support, you know, and then we talk about second chances when really they ain't never been given a first chance. You know, they really never ever been given a chance, never had a real support system. So don't even know what that looks like. You know, a lot of the people when going to reentry, they don't know to ask for, can you help me with my credit score? Because like most of it is like, I know for me, it wasn't about, can you help me with my credit score? I was trying to find out what is my credit score. And they was like, you don't have one. You don't have no credit. So I was like, well, I guess no credit is better than bad credit at the time, but it's just so much. We got so much work to do.
You guys, we have to remember that we are in the state of Illinois. We are home of the third largest city in the United States of America. And we have to remember that it's a jungle up there. These men that are coming home from the Illinois Department of Corrections, you know, when they were home, they were fighting for their lives, literally. They walked outside of their doors and they would have been in survival mode their entire life. They worked with the hand that they were dealt, and whatever decisions they made, whatever choices, whatever models they saw, they definitely weren't learning how to budget money and a credit score and how to buy a house and properly use a credit card. So we have to keep that in mind of where we are and the state of that we represent and what that comes along with.
That's true. You know, that is so true, so true. And also too, Langston also became a board member of the Mclean County Reentry Council recently. So we are excited about doing a great work in Mclean County. It's needed, but we got to work together as a community. You know, education is to help to reduce recidivism by educating our individuals that come home. We want to start where they're at. and if we could start where they're at, if we can get education into them, why they're incarcerated, why they're still in drug and alcohol treatment center. So when they come out, they have a head start. So, oh, I know who to contact to get this, to get that. So it's very important that we do that. Does anybody have any last second questions that we can answer? Like I said, next month, we're going to be talking about housing. I got more individuals coming on who's going to be talking about housing because that's so important. I got some more individuals that have faced barriers. They're going to share some of the things that they're still struggling with and some things that they overcome. So it's about being proactive in some of the great work we're doing. So if anyone doesn't have nothing else, I'm going to give you back 15 minutes of your time. Thank you, Tammy, Jen, Jeff, Vera, Langston, Bethany, Jake, Thule. I appreciate it so much. I think Thule had one question. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. She asked, what do you think, what do you look for in a single family home, Langston?
That's a good question. I look at a lot of houses. There's a lot of different variables that go into that. I like 3-bedroom, 1-bath houses. I like for them to be in neighborhoods that are, rental friendly. I have learned how to purchase 3-bedroom, 1-bath homes using 100% of the bank's money. I now know how to buy houses using zero money out of my own pocket. In fact, one of the houses I purchased just 2 years ago, I went to closing, and at closing, I received a check as the buyer for $18,000, and I put a tenant in it, and the tenant pays the note back. So that's a long list, and maybe I could help me. You can give me some time to really think about that, because there's a lot that goes into what I look for in a house. The structure of the house, the location, the purchase price, the reasons the people are selling it, how long it's been on the market. There's a long list.
Thank you, Thank you, Langston, for that for information.
So
ever since I met, I think I met you, 5-6 months ago, I've just been chewing up all the information, and I really appreciate that. We'll have you back on since you're part of the board. We'll have you back on if they have other questions in the future. I'm pretty sure you can answer them.
Absolutely.
So, thank you, everyone. Happy Friday. Enjoy.
Happy Friday.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Bye, guys.